It was September 10, 2025. Inside Utah Valley University in Orem, Utah, more than 3,000 people had gathered for the American Comeback Tour. On stage stood Charlie Kirk, founder of Turning Point USA. To his supporters, he was a defender of free speech and conservative values. To his critics, a lightning rod for controversy. But that night, no one imagined what was about to unfold. For 20 minutes, it felt like a typical rally. Kirk answered questions, his voice steady. And then, in an instant, everything changed. A single gunshot ripped through the gathering. Screams erupted. People ducked for cover. On stage, Charlie Kirk collapsed, struck in the neck. One bullet had ended his life. Panic overtook the rally. Thousands scrambled for exits while security raced to Kirk. Police officers scanned for the shooter. Officers moved in quickly. CCTV footage showed 22-year-old Tyler James Robinson fleeing from a rooftop after the shot was fired before escaping into a nearby wooded area. In the hours that followed, police released several images of the suspect and offered a $100,000 reward for information leading to their arrest. Robinson's father later recognized him from the images, investigators said, and eventually persuaded him to surrender. A motive for the killing is yet to be revealed by officials. At a press briefing on Friday, the FBI refused to discuss Robinson's background. Political leanings are a possible motive, saying the investigation was ongoing. Investigators later confirmed that Robinson's own father, troubled by his son's behavior, had contacted authorities and encouraged his son to surrender. A handwritten note in his pocket expressed resentment toward Kirk, declaring that silencing him would make a statement. His digital trail revealed obsessive mentions of Kirk in private chats and posts, political rage, and deepening fixation. Friends told police he had become increasingly consumed, spending hours ranting online and spiraling deeper. Prosecutors charged him with aggravated murder, arguing this was deliberate and premeditated. A young man consumed by hatred who had planned his attack on one of America's most recognizable conservative figures. The nation's response was immediate. News spread within minutes. Vigils were organized. Political leaders condemned the killing. President Trump called Kirk a patriot and warned that America was sliding into dangerous political violence. Yet his wife, Erika Kirk, stepped forward as CEO. Her message was clear. Though the movement had lost its founder, the mission would continue. Still, behind the headlines and debates, there was the human story. Charlie Kirk was more than a political figure. He was a husband, a son, a leader to thousands of young conservatives who believed in his mission. The people who attended the rally on September 10th will never forget the sound of the gunshot, the wave of panic, and the silence that followed. Why did this happen? Was it ideology? Was it a troubled mind hiding behind politics? Could it have been prevented? These are the questions investigators are still piecing together, and the same questions Americans now debate in their homes, classrooms, and online. The assassination of Charlie Kirk is not just the story of one man's death, it is a mirror held up to America. A reminder of how sharp divisions can become, and how thin the line is between speech and violence. As Erika Kirk leads Turning Point USA into its next chapter, the question remains: will his death fuel a new movement, or will it stand as a chilling warning of the cost of division? Charlie Kirk's death was more than a bullet in a crowded university hall. It was a turning point, one that forces America to ask, is this the future we are headed toward, or the warning sign we must not ignore? Behind the curtain, we continue to search for the truth, even when tragedy and ideology collide.